all over the place. Hello.
Nailed it.
Slowly got to where we needed to be.
Welcome to OLIP, everyone. We're back.
We are back. Once again, just me and Justin. Tim is not feeling well, unfortunately. So, but we're here to talk about some video games. Justin and I were already kind of talking about them. But before we get to that, I guess we could probably talk about Fortnite right off the top because you've been playing Fortnite lately, huh?
Yeah, so it's May 4th tomorrow, Star Wars Day, of course. May the 4th be with you. And there's usually like some shit that goes down in Fortnite around then. They'll have like a little Star Wars thing every year. And they started this one yesterday. So they added some cool shit. They've got a random thing on the map, right? Where it'll just like pop in and it'll be like these little kind of like holograms of different Jedi Masters that you talk to.
Dope.
And there's like this cool little animation where you like go through this little portal and then you come back out and it's like you went and trained with them. You come back with a lightsaber and like a force power. And you get a different thing depending on which character that you like learn from, right?
Right.
So like there's Darth Maul, because this is all like Clone Wars based.
Right.
So Darth Maul, you get a red saber and you get like a force, pull up a bunch of shit and throw it at somebody.
Fucking love it.
Anakin, you get a blue saber and he gets force pull, I think.
Okay.
And then this one kind of pisses me off, right? It's Obi-Wan, and you get like force push or pull, one of those, and you get a green lightsaber from him.
Why green? Isn't that Luke?
I mean, if they're doing like Clone Wars, none of the major characters use a green lightsaber because Qui-Gon's fucking dead already.
Right.
But it really just felt really weird to me that you get a green lightsaber from Obi-Wan, and it just bugged me on a nerdy Star Wars level.
I don't blame you because that even rubs me wrong, and I'm not even like a huge Star Wars fan because it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
It's just bizarre. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They've got other shit going on the map, like they're like clones that you can go and like attack, and like if you kill them, there's like a reward chest, and you get like their blaster or whatever. So yeah, that's been pretty fun. One of my favorite clips I have from Fortnite is a previous Star Wars event where we made it to like pretty far in the round.
Yeah.
And then I got mowed down by Jedi Master Ariana Grande. And I'll just have that moment with me
Oh
forever.
man, that's funny.
Yeah, that's the joy of Fortnite, man. Just crazy shit that happens.
That is, oh my god. Yeah, the crazy mashup of characters and people that have been added to the game at this point. It's like, I don't know, like a weird
so
Smash
broad.
Bros game. You know what I mean?
It is.
Like,
You've got like real people, anime characters, video game people.
I saw a clip of somebody. It was two guys playing Fortnite, and they were the last two on the map. You know, the circle's coming in, and it was a stormtrooper that was start fighting another stormtrooper, and one stormtrooper was connecting to this guy's build with those hip things from fucking Attack on
Titan.
Attack on Titan. And the dude he built like his little fucking, I don't know, whatever the hell it's called. And he's like his tower of nonsense. And he's like shooting at him, and this dude's like swinging. Fucking stormtrooper is like swinging around, like just staring at him. Eventually comes in, lands on the thing, stormtrooper pulls out a lightsaber, right? And then instead of even swinging it, he just force pushes him out of bounds or whatever. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is this mashup of genres that is happening in front of my eyes right now? It was amazing. And the dude,
it's incredible.
Yeah, the dude who made the video was actually the dude who lost, and he was like, "I'm not even mad right now."
Nice.
He's like, "I'm not even mad. Like, this is cool as fuck." So
That's how it is a lot of the time. Just the things that happen, like win or lose. It's just like fun
yeah,
seeing all the crazy shit happen in there.
yeah. I still forgot to change our fucking names.
Oh,
God.
that's why I don't put the names on there, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's one less
Easy
thing to
mode.
remember. Yeah. Fucking Jesus Christ. No, I was gonna say, but yeah, no. I might have more time for Fortnite because I'm almost done with Dead Island 2. Honestly,
Okay.
I could be done with Dead Island 2, but I've been doing like the side stuff, right?
Hmm.
Because I just have a good time with it. And but I told you I have a story, right?
Yes.
So I've been letting my daughter watch me play Dead Island 2, right? And she like taunts the zombies as I'm fighting them, right? Like, come over here and get killed by my dad and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, straight up just talking shit the whole time. And so I've been letting her watch like some mild horror stuff, like Nuke's Top Five, right? Are you familiar?
Nope.
So he does. He's a really popular. Um, he does like ghost videos, right? Where like he aggregates popular ghost videos, puts them in like
Okay.
a 30-minute video, and talks about them, right? Kind of like, have you heard about Chills?
Nope.
He's got that really. I'll sh- I'll show you a video after this. You'll hear his voice. You'll have heard it before. I promise. He's
Okay.
got a super unique voice. But anyways, I'm letting her watch that, and then there's this game going around right now called like Amanda is Dead or something like that, and it's a horror game, but it's based in like a children's TV show.
Oh.
And Jacksepticeye was doing a playthrough of it, and it's very short. It's like the video is like an hour and a half. Like the game in general is like super short, and so like I had that on, and I was letting her watch it because it's like horror in like a creepy way, not like very like gory or anything like that. Not like Dead Island. Like I'm letting her watch me play Dead Island, so it's like not super crazy.
Hmm.
And then she came up to my computer. She's watching it, and she's like, "Dad, they should chop her head off." And I was like, "Nope,
Oh
that's it.
no.
Now
Oh no.
nope, no more." Like I was like,
Oh.
Get out of the game room. You're not watching
Yep.
this shit no more. That's too far." Like Tim's son saying "blood for the blood god." That's just funny, right? Nah,
Hmm.
she's like, "Chop bitches' heads off."
Oh
Nah,
no.
nope. I got to draw the
So
line.
long.
As a parent, you
Hmm.
know, I was already being kind of questionable. Letting her watch Dead Island. So now Dead Island is a game that I'll probably only play on the weekends when
Hmm.
they're asleep. You know what I mean? Like I don't, I don't have a choice now. Unfortunately, gotta
Yeah.
gotta like chill out on that stuff a little bit. Can't have her
Uh,
going to school saying stuff like that. So
right. You really got to cut the head off of that before
yeah,
it gets out of
100%.
hand.
Yeah, yeah. So I couldn't believe she said that. I was
Oh
like, what the
man, that's
fuck?
wild. Yeah.
I was children, man. They're
They
just
say the darndest
sponges.
things.
They do, but they're also just sponges to everything. And I
Hmm.
was kind of testing the waters on that. Bad idea.
Yep.
Bad idea. Awful idea. So
Oh
yeah,
man.
but yeah. So did you want to talk? Do you want me to go on about Redfall, or do you want to talk about AI in video games
Whichever
first?
way you want to go, man.
I kind of want to talk about AI because I feel it'd be a little bit shorter.
Sure.
So something that I stumbled across, I think it was actually today, was I believe you say his name Asmongold. Asmongold. I don't know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know how you
Right.
pronounce it.
I butcher everybody's name, so I just assume I say it wrong the first time. That's you know what I mean. I don't know. But anyways, he was playing World of Warcraft Classic with an AI like mod, voiceover mod attached to it. So for those who haven't played World of Warcraft at some point in the past like 15 years or however long it's been around, the quest givers aren't voiceover. They might say like a word or maybe a sentence, but the whole thing is not voiceover. So a lot of people don't even read them because there's so much to the game at this point, right? It's been around so long. And but somebody had an AI voiceover of this thing, and they're reading every line, and it's fantastic, right? Like it's pretty good for just like
Yeah, it
an
sounds pretty
AI.
good.
Like if somebody told me, oh, World of Warcraft decided to go back and voice over all these lines, this for shits and gigs after all these years, and I heard that, I would have thought I never would have guessed. Never would have guessed it was an AI and this like because they're only reading generally like a paragraph, right? It's nothing super long, anything like that. And I just think that's crazy at this point because AI is still like in its infancy, really.
Mhm.
You know, like what are we like? Really, like 6 months in? You know?
It's pretty early.
Yeah, like we're like 6 months into it be 6 to 8 months, something like that, to it being out to the general public. And then on top of this, there's another game, or there's another person who made a mod for Skyrim VR that you can like it's an AI voiceover where they'll like have natural conversations with you type thing, and it's a
Yeah, they had that example where you're like selling the sword to the guy and he's like talking to you about the sword.
right, and but it's a lot more noticeable that it's AI, but it's
Yeah,
almost
the
like
actual like voice module
yeah,
that they have for that one was much jankier.
yeah, but at the same time I was like, I don't really care because that's fucking crazy. Like you want to talk about immersive, right? You're playing VR Skyrim and you're like literally haggling over a sword in a game that's I don't 12 years old. Is my math right?
Ancient
2011.
game. Yeah.
2011. Like what are the games going to be like? Well, what are the games potentially going to be like in like 10 years? And what is like where does voice acting go if it just all, you know what I mean? Right? Like
Yeah, there are a lot of questionable things when it comes to that. Like, where are they getting like? Is it legal for them to like train their AI to take this voice of this character in this game and like reproduce it for their own means?
right.
So, that's murky. But it is interesting to see like anything like roguelike. You can just have like a whole roguelike
Yeah.
RPG that's all like AI just reacting to all of your
I
choices.
Stardew Valley. What if you added like that depth? Because part of that AI thing where they're able to hold those natural conversations is they have like a well of like memories basically, right? Because
Which
supposedly
they have either created or stolen.
right, but they so supposedly. Well, I more mean like what if you start a new Stardew Valley game, and like you're a dick to one person to start with, and then you're not a dick to this other person, in these natural conversations that just happen, right? Like maybe you just bump into the one dude and you all just like a normal interaction that you could happen in real life. Like you just happen to bump into this one dude, you all tell each other fuck off, and now the thing goes down, and they remember that for a long time, and then compared to like you're like good buddies with somebody else, but it's all like natural. It's not just like the old like morality systems and stuff that we've seen in the past in these type
Yeah,
of games. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's like more naturally evolves that way. Like that's kind
yeah.
of where I see it going, which is just I don't know. It's just crazy to me to think about.
I think the big thing is like that already exists. We can already do that, but each instance of what's happening has to be programmed by someone.
Right.
Where I think AI is where it
Yeah.
enables just the automation of like
Right.
you don't have to program everything that could or would happen.
Right.
It'll just be automated for you.
I'm glad you understood the nuance I was trying to go for because I couldn't explain
I
it well
got
enough.
you.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that's crazy to me, and it like they like game creators when they make some of those type of games, they like to talk about how every experience is supposed to be like unique and stuff like that, right? Like,
Mhm.
but it's only unique to a point, and that was an understood, like blanket understood thing from anybody
Yeah.
who's played video games. Like they understood, yeah, it's unique, kind of. You know, like
Right, like Mass Effect, you have all of these choices, your choices matter. It's going
right,
to be like unique to you, but there are only so many options.
right, and now like the whole, like, it's like standing in front of the void. All the options are there, like almost realistically, like it's gonna feel like all the options. There's probably still some kind of limit, you know, but hitting that limit is gonna be way more difficult than the 6 or 7 options you had before compared to the fucking like I don't know. You could just make it 30 options. That would still makes every like, and if you have 30 different options with every single character and every single interaction, like and they're natural, and these conversations are turning to be natural conversations. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what's the difference between that and almost real life at that point? You know, like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
it's a little scary to think about. It's cool, right? But it's also scary because it's like, okay, but where's the line? Because at some point, you got to draw some kind of. I feel like you have to draw some kind of line, so there's still like a difference between virtual and actual reality. As much as we want to make virtual reality reality, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I think one thing that we're not quite there yet is just like quality, because the AI is going to give us tons of quantity,
Yeah.
right? You're going to be able to have these like infinite interactions,
Right.
but will they be engaging? Will they be interesting, or
Right.
will they just be like these soulless things? And I think that's where a lot of finesse will come from,
Developers.
developers and
Yeah.
designers, is working with the AI to make it have that feeling that they want it to have.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I'm very fascinated at where this is at right now, and we're just so early in it. It's super interesting to watch happen. Um, I don't know. It's just something I want to keep an eye on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's
what
kind of an exciting thing to watch happen. Like,
right.
is I think I just saw some headline about the White House bringing in some like top AI people to talk about it and see
Yeah.
like, is it something we need to be regulating?
A
What do we
hundred
need to be
percent
doing?
it's gonna have to get regulated. Like,
Yeah.
just because the options are so, because we're just talking about video games, right? We're talking about an entertainment medium. There's a lot of other things, and people are already doing it. Like, I'm sure there's been millionaires made over the past 6 months that have figured out unique ways to use Chat GPT or similar things to then
Oh yeah.
like generate money and shit like that. Like,
We've seen a lot of things. We've seen people who are overemployed, where they're taking on multiple remote jobs and just
oh
like
yeah,
doing them via AI or like Chat GPT.
yeah,
We've seen there's a kidnapping where this woman thought her
oh
daughter was kidnapped,
yes,
but it was just like an AI voice of
yep,
her from
yep,
like whatever TikTok or whatever she was on.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
I,
pretty
I
nuts.
had a buddy post that in the chat, and I was like, I've been doing a podcast for 6 years. Like, they have my voice is out there. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
right.
if
Yeah.
somebody really
If someone
fucking
wanted to,
wanted
they
it,
could just go, yeah, make a AI model of your voice.
100%. Like, and it's just weird. And then we were talking about, and this is like the creepier aspects of things, but like, I had a buddy of mine who was like, well, what if somebody made an AI that basically could like replicate your voice and then also give it a well of memory so you can almost still have a conversation after you've died, right? Like, that's just like, and that's just like, I was like, okay, well, that's too far for me. I don't want to talk to my dead grandpa like that.
Oh
Like,
my
you
god.
miss people and stuff, but I think it stops. My personal opinion, I think it would like stop like the actual grief cycle that's supposed to happen when the whole life and death thing that happens. But
Yeah, that man, that sounds like some real crazy like sci-fi shit.
right. Well, it reminds me. I think I said this earlier. It reminds me of like holograms, right? Like, even in Star Wars, right? Where, or no, not Star Wars. What the Will Smith movie, I, Robot, where
Oh.
he's talking to that guy and he's asking a question. He's like, I'm only a program. I can only answer so many questions, kind of thing. Or you have to ask the right question, I think, is what the thing he
Mm-hmm.
kept repeating. Yeah, like, but we're on the verge of being able to do that. It's
Yep.
fucking wild, dude.
It's
Like,
absolutely wild.
oh my
It
god.
really is nuts seeing this technology developing in real time.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It's just, but I just think it really it's a cool conversation. And I'm really curious who's gonna be the first AAA developer to like actually implement this into a video game. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm waiting on at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the obvious like use is like we've been talking about, like these big open world style RPGs where you
Yeah,
have a lot of NPCs you're interacting with and you can
yeah.
use that dialogue and stuff. But I wonder what other uses we'll see
I
for it,
just
if we'll
thought of one.
see. Yeah.
I literally just fucking thought of one off the top of my head. What if you like to play Madden franchise mode by yourself, but you're sick and tired of just stomping out the computer because the computer doesn't learn, right? Add in the AI, they learn, they understand football, they understand coverages, they understand like how all that shit works. and then they start calling like correct plays and making certain checks and stuff like, and now you have your own offline league that's fully competitive. Like they know how to draft players. They know how, like they understand how the game works and the algorithm. Bro, that would be dope. Because then I don't gotta play with anybody ever again. Fuck it, I can just play Madden by myself. I don't need nobody. Like,
Right. And that's something that we see developers struggle with is like the AI for like NPCs in games and
yeah,
stuff.
we'll talk
That's
about that
always
in a
like a
little bit.
big issue.
Yeah.
So that automation would be huge.
I just it would be fantastic. I don't know, man. Like that just I can't
feel
I
like
literally just fucking thought about that off the top of my head.
the Nemesis system could be a really good use here, as with everything.
Oh my god. Well, honestly, it almost kind of makes the Nemesis system moot, doesn't it? Because it could
Yeah,
almost
you could kind
it
of make
replace
your
it.
own Nemesis system.
Yeah, you could just replace it at this point faster, I would assume, right? Like by using Chat GPT or its plugin or whatever as a base at that point, right?
Yeah, and it could be a lot more immersive, right?
Yeah, you could
'Cause
evolve it.
you only have so many options. Like, okay, you burn that guy, or
Yeah.
like you killed him with a sword or whatever.
Right.
And the AI could be like, ah, yes, you killed him with a diagonal cut from here to here.
Dude,
It's very granular things.
the options are so endless. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Let's get a Pokemon game that's AI generated.
oh, I would love that actually. Well,
When you beat the game, it just makes a whole new region, and you just start fresh.
Okay, I can only be so wrecked, sir. Like, because that was one of the best things. So a big reason why we always end up on Pokemon. A big reason why Gen 2 of Pokemon is considered the best Pokemon generation is because it allowed you to go back to Kanto,
Yeah.
and replay through all of that. It like, not saying it has to be infinite, right? But like, let's say in the beginning of your game, kind of like a roguelike or whatever. Tim, the names are messed up because I forgot to change them. He's on YouTube. He said, "Why is Cody me and Justin is Cody?" But what I was gonna say, you could set up like, you can be like, I want to play through 8 continents, right, or 8 regions, and then so you can still set the parameters, right, and be like, how many Pokemon are generated per region, you know what I mean, like, and kind of like move it from there, kind of like the opportunities are literally fucking endless, and that's kind of why I wanted to highlight it, because it's just, yeah.
I think one of the negative things that's potentially going to happen is we're going to see a lot more garbage, because
Probably.
AI is going to make creating, anything digitally way easier and way quicker. So I wonder if it'll be like a deluge of like shit that we have to sift through.
Well, I think that's where the regulation part comes in, but that's already happening. I don't know if you've heard about like people like making children's books out of AI with AI, where they publish them themselves, but they have Chat GPT write the story, and then they use I forget what the picture AI programs are called, but they use those to then create the pictures, kind of thing, and then they just get like another company to like put the book together, and then they sell it on Amazon.
Man.
And then they self-publish, right? And
That's
people
nuts.
have made money that way. They also get like a lot of returns on those, because the way the stories are worded, this is what I don't understand. Like, if you're gonna do that, why not curate it? Like, Chat GPT can make like the main piece,
Right.
and this is where Tim's here.
Oh, hey Tim.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. The robots is coming.
That's right.
They are coming. I have 2 Tims on my 3. Why do I have 2 Tims? I don't understand. On the 3 camera thing, I have 2 Tims.
We're getting double timmed right now.
We are.
God.
Yeah, I don't like, but like,
one of me's enough of a mess. You don't need
that this is true. I don't know, but yeah, like, why wouldn't you like curate it? Because the big like complaints were like, people would get these books, like read them, and be like, this is disturbing, like the way it's worded and stuff like that. It's like, it's soulless, and like, I don't know how much you guys have messed with Chat GPT, but it 100% is. It's just straight to the point facts or whatever, you know what I mean, for whatever you type into it. So I don't know. Yeah, it's good times. But Tim, do you have any thoughts on AI voiceovers being used in video games?
I
Have the power.
feel like this has been an issue for a while, and it's becoming more prevalent. Like, there was a mod for The Witcher 3 that was like a full storyline campaign that they used. Uh, I forget the voice actor's name who does Geralt, but they had to take it the fuck down because they used it without his permission. They deep faked
Yeah,
him and
I
did a
forgot.
whole
Yeah,
fucking thing.
I do remember that.
Um, it's gonna continue to be a problem for a long time, and the better deep fake gets, the deep fakes get, the worse it's going to get in terms of legal messes. So that'll be interesting. Um, I'm surprised that Ron Perlman hasn't already been modded into every game ever.
Yo, that's a
You
great idea.
you launch any fucking game and all of a sudden you just get war. War never changes. Just every fucking thing.
Oh god, yeah, that would be funny.
AI narration of just like, you know how Bastion has that cool narrator, just like that, but for every game you play.
Yeah,
And it's always Ron Perlman. Or
yeah.
if it's
Well,
for some reason sassier in nature, Morgan Freeman.
That could be a whole program that somebody makes, just
have
like
you
narrator program.
have you guys not been watching the U.S. president stuff? I just posted that FNAF one the other day.
Oh yeah,
Dude, it's an hour long, and no joke, because they do them in like 5 minute. They make the videos in 5 minute intervals, and then they put a big one together. And it's called U.S. Presidents Play Horror Games. Is a YouTube channel. It's fucking fantastic. It's funny as shit to listen to those three, like, because they act like real gamers, where they're just fucking ragging on each other the whole time, but with the like little political stuff underneath it or whatever.
yeah,
It's just like
they're
super funny. And then they're playing FNAF
they're
on top of it.
caricatures of themselves, which is
Obamas
a lot of
are
fun.
freaky accurate. In
Yeah, they
all
are.
every single one of those ones, Obama. It wouldn't surprise me if it was like someone doing Obama's voice, but no, it's AI. Also, that shit is already causing problems in court because Elon Musk's lawyers were like, he's getting sued for some shit
Excuse
that
me.
he said back in like 2017 or something,
Yeah.
and his lawyers are already like, well, how do we know it wasn't a deep fake of him? And the judge shut that shit down like right away. Was like, no, but
2017. Yeah.
that's far
That's a
enough
real
back
issue.
that like, yeah, how long is it gonna be before all of a sudden
Yeah.
a certain former president is gonna be like, well, this was all clearly a deep fake of me. I didn't say what happened on that bus forever ago. That was clearly a deep fake. That wasn't real.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why we'll eventually see regulation, right?
Yeah,
Like
for
we'll
sure.
have to, because there are going to be people that are going to try and use it for nefarious means. Like that modder, obviously, is not trying to be nefarious. He's just trying to have like an idea come to fruition. I don't even think he was making money. He just made a mod, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't really see that as like nefarious, but I understand why they ended up taking it down, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I think you're gonna see developers do the same thing. They might just have somebody come in, hire them, say like I don't know 1,000 lines or something like that, and then just give it to Chat GPT and let them do all the conversations. You know what I mean? Like
That's already been a thing where in the voice acting community for the past like couple of years, you'll see these jobs get offered to people where it's like, hey, we're making a voice bank thing.
Yeah.
Sign this thing and do these lines, and they're just taking this person and turning them into an AI voice that they can do whatever they want with, and the person has signed away all of their rights to it for
oh
like
man.
$500 or whatever.
Oh man, yeah. See, and that's the other piece where the regulation has to come in, because it could be like the contract's got to say like, you know, I can't say X Y Z in these things if they're gonna do something like that. You know what I mean? Like something like
Yeah,
super
there's gotta
off the
be some.
wall. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be clarification for stuff like that. But it'll get regulated. I'm 100% sure of that. But right now it's basically the 21st century gold rush version.
Yeah,
It really is right
absolutely.
now. Like that's what if you figure out how to use Chat GPT or AI in some kind of unique way, you're gonna make some fucking money. Like that's
Yeah,
just
it's
where we're
like
at.
NFTs, but they do something.
It's very true. Yeah.
NFTs, but not fucking JPEGs. Cool.
Right.
I can't use snipping tool to steal this. Awesome. All right, great.
Um,
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, I didn't realize we were stalling for Tim. I didn't know if Tim was gonna make it. He said he wasn't feeling good, but now he's sipping a Monster. I don't understand what's happening.
Oh
I'm
God,
I'm still not feeling great, but it's fine.
Okay.
it's Tim
Well,
fuel right there.
yeah, Tim, I want to give you the chance. Then I will let you talk about Redfall first, so you can get those thoughts out there, just in case you have to
Oh,
leave again. Because
okay.
I knew that was gonna be a longer conversation, so I saved that kind of for last. So,
Fair enough. Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
So, caveat, haven't beat it yet. Playing solo. Playing on PC. I have played it on Xbox and PC now. If you're going to play it, please, for the love of God, have Game Pass. Don't pay $70 for it in its current state. And PC is where you should play it. Be prepared to tinker around with your settings though, because holy shit. Um, it was a wild ride getting it to run on my PC
Oh
better
man,
than it does on my Xbox. And it runs, it's weird because on the Xbox, if you're static, everything's moving and it's relatively smooth. But as soon as you turn the camera, it's it's the 30 FPS matters at that point. It's the one time where I'm going to be like, leave on motion blur. Holy shit, it looks bad. It is cross save, so my Xbox is where I started playing it, and then I was able to continue on my PC. So that was a nice feature, cool. But as soon as I launched it on my PC, I was like, it is running at 30 frames a second. What the fuck? At 2560 by 1080. What the shit? And I go into the settings and everything's cranked. Everything's by default maxed out settings. I was like, okay, my rig should be able to handle this at max settings. This is weird. So I went in and I manually set everything to epic, the furthest it goes to the right. At the same resolution, didn't change it. Suddenly I was getting like 70 frames a second. I
nice.
manually disabled FSR 2.1, which was running by default. My frame rate went up and the game looked better.
What the
I was like,
fuck?
what the fuck? So I was like, all right, something's not right here. Something's broken. Let me try this. So I manually set the game's resolution to 5120 by 2160, so 5K ultra wide. I got better frame rate. Then I went in and turned FSR 2.1 back on and it got even better.
What the fuck?
The more I fucked with the settings, the better performance I was getting, even though theoretically it should have been getting worse. So I've been playing the game at 5K ultra wide at approximately, with FSR 2.1 on, 70 frames a second on my PC. And everything's fine. However, still images, this is subjective and I don't have screenshots of both to kind of put side by side, and we're not Digital Foundry, so I'm not doing that type of deep dive. It looked better on my Xbox,
Hmm.
which doesn't make any fucking sense. Specifically, the lighting looked better. There are no ray tracing options on PC, but I almost wonder, I don't know this, but I almost wonder if by default ray tracing is just on the Xbox. Cuz the game, people say, "Oh, it doesn't look that good." It's very stylized. It is a good-looking game. It's not groundbreaking graphically, but I think it looks just fine, and with on the Xbox it looked really good. And on my PC it looks fine. But again, there's no ray tracing settings that I can turn on. And if I were to say be rendering the game at 4K with ray tracing on, that's the type of performance I would expect to get, is about 30 frames a second compared to what I'm getting 5K ultra wide without ray tracing on PC. So something fucky is going on in engine with the actual rendering of the game somewhere in the pipeline. The game is fundamentally broken. That said, all the other bugs that I'm seeing people complain about online, I haven't been getting that much. Like The AI, yeah, it's not great. The AI is your standard open world buggy. You can manipulate it to like have your enemies all cluster and just keep headshotting them. That's open world nonsense that you've been getting since Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
I enjoy the formula of open world games like this, so I don't mind the gameplay loop. The gunplay is fine. The enemy design is boring, but fine. Um, I'm gonna beat the thing. Like I'm not hating my time with it. I don't love it. It's not like I'm gonna play through every character, but I'm gonna play all the way through it because it's like if it was in a better state technically, it's kind of what I was worried it was gonna be. It's like a 7 out of 10 game. It's okay. Like it's fine. It's a C, right? It's a passing grade as a game itself, but it lacks the depth of arcane uh, games traditionally. It's not going to have the replay value because the mission design is static. Um, yeah, you can approach it either stealthily or going guns blazing, and there are certain missions that you can approach differently, like going in from a different entrance, blah 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 blah. But this is not an immersive sim in the way that Prey was. This is not an immersive sim in the way that Dishonored was. It it has some of the things that I didn't like as much about Deathloop in terms of the AI and the it feels like it has some of Arcane's stuff, but it's simplified. The abilities is a prime example. Like it doesn't feel like you're playing with a full character kit. It feels like it feels like if I was Corvo, but you gave me just like a section of his skill tree, that's Jacob, and then another section that's Devere, and then another section is the other characters' names, and I forget the other characters' names. So like, I I feel like I saw Mr. Matty Plays say this is their Fallout 76, and I go that's a bit over extreme. Like it's broken. I expect performance to improve. I expect the buggy nature of the game to get fixed at some point. But after they fixed Fallout 76, at its bones, you had an interesting Fallout world that lacked the depth of a Fallout game. And at Redfall, at its bones, you have an arcane immersive sim in an open world that lacks the depth of any of other Arcane's games. So on the one hand, I get that perspective of it's their Fallout 76. But I think it has at launch. I don't want to stop playing it like I did 76. Like I didn't play all the way through 76 at launch. 76 got better over time with additional content. This is like an okay game. It's not a game that I would have paid $70 for. If I had bought it at $70 on Steam, I'd be refunding it. I wouldn't beat it. So it's a good Game Pass experience. I don't think it's a great game right now, and I was kind of worried about that. So the other thought that I have on that is it makes Starfield way more. Starfield was already like the big thing for Xbox this year. Like Redfall to me was always like a side thing. Like, oh, this could be good. But now, if they fuck up Starfield, that's real bad. Like Hi-Fi Rush was great, but outside of a Hi-Fi Rush, Ghostwire Tokyo, Bethesda published game, meh, at best. Deathloop, really good game by most accounts, but that's like one in the last 6 years, 7 years for Bethesda outside of Doom Eternal. Like, that's rough.
Yeah,
So
Xbox really needs a flex at this point.
yeah,
they need a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, and it isn't making, whatever it's working on isn't coming out for at least 2 years, you have to assume. So the fact that somebody greenlit Redfall as it is right now and was like, yeah, it's ready. We're not going to delay it again. We're going to go ahead and push it out. God, I hope Starfield is just. Oh my God, Bethesda is still one of my favorite games publishers, but like, damn, this is not a good look. So that's my thoughts on Redfall. Sorry for ranting.
No, you're
It's
good.
good.
I'm gonna say I kind of disagree. I think a better game to compare this to, for me, I actually just thought of this, is Anthem. I feel like this is an Anthem moment kind of thing where there's some cool things about it. Flying in a suit in Anthem was cool. Like, that was cool. Walking around the town shooting zombies. Or not zombies, but vampires. I'm okay. Like, I can get on board with that. That's about as far as it goes for me. I've only played about 3 hours, right? But I don't think there's fundamental. I think the game is fundamentally bad. There's not something that a lot of people I've seen complain about is the cutscenes because they're slideshows. I don't I don't have a problem with that personally. Like a lot of people are like, there's no animated cutscenes in the entire game, and I'm like, yeah, that's a disappointment. Also, a style choice kind of thing. Um, so that
They
doesn't.
had the story trailers that looked so damn good though, and
They
then they
did.
go to this. It
Unexpected.
really makes you wonder where that budget went. Like,
I
it's
don't.
very strange that was it because that was a choice that they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
But it's a strange choice to make given the circumstances.
Yeah. But so that's one of the complaints is the slideshow stuff, right? For the cutscenes, that doesn't bug me a whole lot. The thing that bugs me is that I can compare this game's gunplay to Dead Island, and the fact that like the gunplay in Dead Island was not the focus, 100% not the focus. That shit was slapped in there as just like a last second thing to have some basic gunplay in there, and they're basically the same. Um, whereas in
Passable, but not great.
yeah, it's as in Redfall, that's your main way of like combat. It's not fun really. I do think that Redfall, like the city, is interesting. Like if you're going through the buildings and stuff like that, there's a lot of buildings you can go into, which I thought was cool. Um, there's just nobody there. It's just like no lights are on, nobody's home, kind of thing. The enemies, I don't find any like I put it on the hardest difficulty it can be on right now, just because I was curious. They're not challenging at all. The combat that we kind of saw from the IGN trailer is basically how it works. You shoot at the
man.
zombie until you run out of ammo, and then you run away to avoid their melee attacks as they teleport around you, and then you shoot them some more once you've reloaded.
Who are
There's
you
a
playing as?
I'm playing as the medic chick.
Because I don't have that problem. I just shoot him in the head a couple of times with
Yeah,
the
because you're playing
sniper,
as the
and then I,
sniper dude. I knew you
yeah,
were
and
gonna
then
play
I
as him.
go up with the shotgun and I shoot him in the face and stake him.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a little bit of variety of play styles. Not really a whole lot. There's like cool ideas in there. Like there's a flare gun type thing. Like that was something that I felt like they could have expanded on more. They didn't. You got the stake launcher. I haven't really used that yet because it's hard to find ammo for it. But that's a cool idea. You got the UV beam to like slow down the vampires and stuff. That's cool. But like none of it's challenging. The world does feel super empty, and the story. I like environmental storytelling. I really dug it in the first division. Like I really liked it in that game. This game has a little bit of that. With Tim, I don't know. I'm assuming you found a couple of those. The ghost thingies. And it tells kind of like the opening story. They basically like kind of give the idea of how the vampirism got to Redfall, and it's from some girl basically, and then you find these collectibles where it's more story kind of added onto that. The problem is you find them out of order, so you got to find them all first before you'll understand the whole thing, right? But
Oh. Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff doesn't wholly bother me. So there's little tidbits that I like. I like the vibe of Redfall, right? It reminds me a lot of that area, New World, that I really like, kind of thing,
Oh,
with like
yeah.
the fall colors and all this stuff. I really like the vibe, but like just dropping more enemies into it isn't gonna make it better because the AI is just bad, right? I stopped playing last night. I started playing for a little bit last night. I stopped playing because I got glitched in between a fucking catwalk and a wall, and then I exited the desktop and it locked my whole computer. So I was like mad. Like I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like I was watching a video over here and the video was still playing, but this went black, right? My main screen went black, and then I couldn't bring up task menu, my task, like control alt delete or whatever. I'm forgetting the name. I couldn't bring that up. Like I knew it was up, but I couldn't get it on this screen to get to it because that's the last place it was at, and it was just a bunch of nonsense. I personally haven't been able to get mine to be stable FPS. And I've messed with the settings a little bit.
With a 3090.
Yeah, I have a 3090.
Jesus.
And when I say stable, like if I'm walking, it's fine. As soon as I start sprinting, there are frame drops everywhere. Like it's just bad. And like the way the combat's set up, I sprint all the time. You know, like I'm constantly sprinting, kind of thing. So
I haven't had that problem.
yeah, it's just if like my little bit of time with it, I'd have to give it like a 5 if I had to like grade it. You know what I mean? Maybe if all the technical problems are fixed and I can play through it, give it a 6 kind of thing. I think there was a good idea here. It was poorly executed. They were given a whole extra year to like get this together, and it didn't happen. So what did it look like a year ago? That's my question.
My big thing on this is how hard did COVID affect the impact on this too? Because, like we're saying, this game feels like we are not beta testing. It feels like we're playing an alpha version of the game.
100%.
At launch.
Yeah.
And like the cut scenes are not there. Instead, it looks like we have a concept art slideshow.
Yeah.
It looks like they literally took the storyboard and were just like, we spent a lot of time on this. Why don't we just put this in the game? Because we don't have time to make that work.
It does, yeah.
Like, there's so many things about it that just feel half done.
Yep.
That I genuinely wonder how much the game releasing in 2023 and being in development, because Arcane Lyon did Deathloop. So that's Arcane France. This is Arcane Houston.
Austin.
Their last game... Austin,
yeah.
Austin.
Sorry.
Their last game was Prey.
Yeah.
So I genuinely wonder how big of an impact the last 3 years had on this. Like, how much were they not able to get done?
Here's my thing, though. If you have any real kind of quality control over your studios as the publisher, you don't release this game.
Well, there's 2 publishers involved, too. Somebody at Bethesda had to greenlight this, and somebody at Xbox had to greenlight this. Or somebody at Xbox didn't double check what Bethesda said was good to go. There are failures in the chain here.
Yeah, I really feel like I really feel like this game in particular, if it doesn't, it should. But what should be happening right now is there needs to be new quality control checks put on all these games, kind of thing, that are coming out, because right now, as a longtime Game Pass subscriber, I don't use Game Pass a ton, right? I use it. I like I haven't tried Cassette Beast yet. I'd like to play that. I played a little bit of Ni no Kuni, the White Witch. My wife played through Far Cry. You know what I mean? Like, it gets used, but it's not my main source. Like, if I had to turn off Game Pass, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to be like, all right, I'm saving $15 a month right now. And the whole reason why I still have it was for games like Redfall and like Starfield. If Starfield flops, subscriptions are going to go down, because we say COVID, right? But there's been PlayStation's releasing games that went through development during COVID. Final Fantasy 16 is about to come out. That thing looks bomb as shit. God of War Ragnarok just came out. Bomb as fuck. Like, that's the competition. That's the bar. Hi-Fi Rush came out. Yeah. Like, that's the bar, and they're not meeting it.
After another Bethesda studio,
Yeah.
by the way, had already put out Tokyo or Ghostwire Tokyo last
Yeah.
year, and then Hi-Fi Rush dropped this year. It's
Yeah.
like, oh shit. So, yeah, COVID is not like an excuse of like, oh, this is
I wasn't trying to
justified
say
in
that.
how bad
Yeah.
it was. Yeah, no. I want to clarify for myself. I'm not saying that it excuses them from how bad this is,
Yeah.
but I genuinely wonder how much of an impact it did have
Right.
because the timing of it makes me go, ooh,
Yeah.
yep, you can feel the parts where it's half baked, and that
100%.
sucks.
Yeah, I just if any real quality control was happening, I don't think this game gets released. Hell, I bet you this game would have got canceled. 100%. I bet you it would have gotten canceled. And they just would have been like, hey, just scrap it, use those assets on something else, and we're just gonna start brand new kind of thing. Because it's just, in my opinion, it's just not good. I like the city, and that's really all I got about Redfall. Like I like the city they made, even though it's empty and stuff. I still like it, running around and exploring and finding little nuggets here and there or whatever. But that's really the only like real good takeaway for me, and that's just me because I like to look at shit. And, and Justin, you probably don't know this, but like, in the beginning of the game, the way everybody gets stuck in Redfall is the vampires, no joke, raise the ocean,
What the fuck?
and it's just this wall around
Oh my
Redfall, right?
It is a very dishonored looking scene.
That's
The
cool.
water's fucking suspended. It's beautiful.
Okay, well, see, I think it looks like cool idea. Looks like shit. Looks like a PlayStation 1 asset for my stuff, and I hate it. I think it could, because here's the problem. I can see where it looks cool because I can see small patches of where it's actually rendered, right? And I'm like, oh, if it all looked like that, this would probably look dope, but it doesn't, because this game technically is broken as fuck. Like,
I have a question, Cody.
what's up?
Do you still have upscaling on?
No, I've turned DLSS off, and I've tried it in like pure performance. Like, there's one that's like below performance, like extra performance. Yeah. Like I've tried every option up and down the thing because I was more worried about I could deal with like things looking like shit a little bit if the frame rate is stable, and it doesn't matter what I do. I like as soon as I start sprinting, frame drops. And I'm just like, I can't, like, it's okay, like, I could deal with it for a little while, a couple hours or whatever here and there. Like, if I was playing with y'all, it wouldn't bug me as much, right? Because I'm more worried about talking to y'all. But that, like, playing by myself, it's very noticeable, and it's annoying kind of thing. So,
So I had a issue where with upscaling on, there's this wolf that would be clear if I was a few feet away, but then I would walk up and all of a sudden it would try and reload the textures and it would look like it does behind me.
Oh.
The textures
Yeah,
would like
yeah.
unload and became a blurry
Yep.
mess. So I wonder if that's kind of what you were seeing with the ocean stuff.
Probably, yeah. Like I said, I can see, and this is where my thing is like, I can see the idea that they had for the game, and I don't think the idea was bad. I actually kind of like the idea. It's just super poorly executed across the board, which is just like disappointing with the studio it came from, right? Like, this is not what you want, and then it brings up the broader conversation with Xbox and the CMA not or the CMA blocking their stuff and whatnot. Like, Xbox needed to win. They took a huge L, right? So, and honestly,
maybe that looks good for them. They're like, we're not that big of a company. Come on.
Well,
We make shitty games.
I was
So
listening.
mean that we would corner the market. Look at the games we put out.
Yeah,
Who's
well,
gonna stream this?
I did. So somebody brought up Destin had on a guest. That guy I watch. He works at IGN and stuff like that. He had on a guest talking about the merger, and this is not on the docket, but that guy brought up a good point that if cloud is the thing that they're gonna like hang their hat on of why they won't pass like the merger, Microsoft needs to be bringing up in court. Well, then why didn't you block the merger between it's like WB and I think HBO, and then there was another, it was Disney and somebody else
Hulu.
kind of thing. What I don't know.
Disney bought Hulu.
Well, either way, those transactions were like each were like 50 billion, like just crazy things, like crazy numbers. I don't think the Disney one was Hulu. I think it was somebody else. But and they're like pure streaming platforms now, right? So it's like a similar thing, and the CMA didn't challenge it at all. So what's the difference here? If cloud gaming is what you're going to hang your hat on, you said consoles are fine. Everything on the console side is cool. It's just cloud gaming that we're worried about. Well, why didn't you challenge these other cloud based streaming services, right? So that was something that they brought up. If I don't know how all that will work, if they can like bring that to court in the UK or whatever. But anyways, right? Yeah, so that stuff could get overturned, and the merger could eventually go through. Look, I'm just gonna say this: with the technical issues with Jedi Survivor, which makes me happy. I haven't finished Fallen Order yet because I can still finish that.
You've got some time.
I got time. With the technical issues of Jedi Survivor, the only other game I'm really excited about this year right now is fucking Diablo 4, and that wasn't even on the radar to start the fucking year.
Armored Core 2.
Or Armored Core as well, because it's Armored Core 5. Is that
6, I think?
6? Yeah.
5 already happened and it almost killed the franchise.
Yeah. So Armored Core 6, right? But like I've had Dead Island was a huge surprise for me too. Like I said, I bought it for my wife and I absolutely love that game. I really do. I think it's just a super solid game. So get it on a sale. Everybody, get it on sale. It's a good game.
Not excited for Breath of the Wild?
I will not be playing
a game with better hardware, extra development time, ends up looking like shit and running badly.
Well, here's the thing: Nintendo treats its first party correctly, right? When was the last time Nintendo released a bad like first party game?
Bad.
Scarlet. The fuck is Scarlet?
He's talking about Scarlet
and Violet.
That
wasn't that long ago.
Pokemon's not first party. That's the thing. It should be. It should be 100% agreed, but it's technically
not.
It's not. It's technically not first party, which is why it gets treated like shit.
You are technically correct,
which
is the best kind of correct.
Well, that's always been my opinion. That's why Pokemon's treated the way it is, because it's technically not a first party. If it was first party, none of the stuff, because we're about to see it with Breath of the new Tears of the Kingdom. That game. You think you're going to see any trees like you see in Pokemon and Tears of the Kingdom? Fuck no. Those trees are going to look at least okay. Okay, you know what I mean? They're at least going to look like trees.
They just won't be there.
Or that. Yeah, they'll just be like, look at the grass. Yeah, I just... So, yeah, Nintendo and PlayStation treat their first-party games right. I can't remember the last time a first-party game came out from either of those that was, like, just bad, like just straight up.
Xbox has had a bunch, man.
Well,
how long ago did Destruction All Stars come out? Because that's first party.
Destruction All Stars?
Isn't that PlayStation?
We complete. Yeah, you said Sony.
You know what? You know what? I think that one's a couple years ago.
Sony's got a lot more hits than Xbox does. I tell you what, though, like. There's a lot of stuff that they don't miss on. They missed on one out of the last few. Okay.
What is Destruction All Stars?
It was a racing game.
It was
I remember that
vehicular combat game where you could get out of the vehicle and do some shit.
Yeah,
and it was not good.
It wasn't good. So Tim was able to name one for Sony.
There's one. But there's like a whole list for Xbox right now.
Yeah,
it's like ooh.
Well, it's
there's actually well, kind of.
Halo Infinite.
Yeah. I would say Halo. So that's the thing. That's the reason why all this stuff is so important. Because Halo Infinite, it wasn't a total miss, but it didn't hit the way it should have either, right? Like the thing about Halo is it's like it's a lot like Destiny. There's a lot of good shit here, but the support is garbage. You know what I mean?
Your live service game that hasn't gotten new content in 2 years outside of. Season pass.
Or a campaign. Give me some campaign DLC.
No single player shit at all.
Give me some campaign DLC. I'd love it.
That's partly what I'm talking about, because like they said there was going to be continued content. Live service for single player too, and now it's just like nope,
non-existent.
We're gonna move Halo to Unreal Engine. Oh, what about this one? No,
Honestly, at this
this
point,
one was good though. Oh,
I would take a Halo Infinite Battle Royale. I just want to throw that out there. Like it's perfect for it. It's got the big ass fucking map. Just fucking
they
do
did.
it. No, they kind of did. They had that like one game mode in the multiplayer. I'm talking about use the campaign map, make it Battle Royale, and just fuck it and just run with it.
Looking around, dude.
Right?
Hell
Yeah. Like just fuck it. Like let's
use the open world that you created.
Right. Let's milk this thing for what we can, and just the game already has all the systems to fucking do it. That's the other part of that whole deal. Like just do it. Just do it. People will love it. As much as I didn't want to see it when it first came out, fucking you're on life support. Do it. Fuck it. Shit.
It's all right. They've got a 10-year plan, dude. They got plenty of time to turn it around.
I know. But this is what's frustrating about being an Xbox fan, and I would say in general we lean kind of Xbox-ish compared to the other two, right? In general, right?
I just turned on my PlayStation for the first time in like 4 months the other day and was playing Ghost of Tsushima. I was like, oh, why did I ever stop playing this game?
Because that game is fantastic. Oh my god, I fucking.
I was literally just talking about Ghost of Tsushima earlier when I was watching this anime with some samurai. I was like, man, seeing that dude cut those people to ribbons really makes me want to play Ghost of Tsushima again.
Dude, I love that. So you know when people ask what's one game you wish you could go back and experience for the first time again? It's fucking Ghost of Tsushima for me. Every time it'll be that for fucking eternity. Like that is hands down my favorite game. And even I had to take a break from it because there's a lot of content and stuff. I took like a 2-3 month break, came back, ended up beating it. Combat's such fantastic.
A cool, just like kind of out of nowhere from Sucker Punch. Like, oh, you're doing this like Japanese game.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
Well, and the other part about that is I remember listening to like people talk about it before it came out, and they're like, oh, it's just another Assassin's Creed, blah blah blah. It kind of turned me off, and then I was like, and then I got my new TV, and I was like, I want something that looks good on this fucking TV. And I was like, well, Ghost of Tsushima apparently looks really good. And then I fucking bought it, and I was like, holy shit, this game's fantastic. Fucking took the...
That's what Xbox needs, man. They need 100%. A Ghost of Tsushima.
100%. Well, I mean, you could say Hi-Fi Rush was that. That's a problem. How do I keep hitting all the double A games, but the AAA, they can't hit?
I wouldn't say Hi-Fi Rush is close to Ghost of Tsushima.
I'm talking about coming out of nowhere and fucking like blowing everybody's pants off, basically. Yeah. Because
it's funny how quickly people have moved on from Hi-Fi Rush in terms of the conversation too, because not even like it came out, right? But it came out, and for a couple of months, people were like, "Oh, Xbox is on a heater. Xbox is doing great. Xbox is awesome." Then Redfall happens 2 months later. Everybody's like, "Xbox is burning. The world's on fire. Xbox is dead. If Starfield doesn't hit, it's over."
But well, that's the state of games conversations in this world now.
I mean, kind of. I think it's fair to be really critical of Xbox because once again, Hi-Fi Rush is a AA game. Where is the AAA experience that they promise to their subscribers and the people who buy the fucking console? Like, why am I gonna buy the console if you don't make games for it that are first party, that are good? Like, what the fuck's the point?
They need to do like a buyback. Like, here, we'll buy back your consoles. Go buy a computer. That's basically where we're going.
Oh, God, I mean, with the state of PC ports, don't do that.
Here, 20.
It all depends on the game. It's weird because like half the games right now. If you're playing Jedi Survivor right now, God, I hope you're playing it on console because PC. Yeah. Although there was a patch. There was a patch today that Well, not even day one. Like today, there was a patch that went live that I saw some people, some videos posted on that. I don't know if it fixed performance. There was a hardware unboxed video that I need to watch that supposedly it looks like it's probably better. We'll see. But like, God, that game was so broken on. But then you go and play, like, I'm also confused because I feel like Redfall runs on Xbox worse than PC, yet most of the reviews I've seen of it were like, I played it on Xbox. Like, Skill Up, who always plays stuff on PC, was clearly playing on his Xbox. And, like, it showed it crashing to the home screen, like, more than once. Game Ranks, their footage was mostly on Xbox. Mr. Maddie, Xbox. I was like, what is going on?
Well, because they got codes, and they're probably for the Xbox.
They got codes for the Xbox, sure, but like I don't understand that. Why would you want to showcase it there if it runs worse there?
Because that's their console. Like that's exactly why. That's their fucking. Well, I would say moneymaker, but really Game Pass is a moneymaker these days. But like that's the thing you're trying to sell with your AAA games is buy my hardware, and then put Game Pass in it. Like that's what it should be. But what the fuck's the point of buying the hardware if the AAA game you release is literally the worst rated game? I forgot to bring this up. Worst rated game in Xbox history. You have to go back to the 360 era to find one rated as worse as Redfall is right now. Or as bad. English. But, yeah.
For a first party?
Yeah. I forgot who brought that up. It might have been Skill Up. I don't know. I've watched a bunch of reviews on this because I'm very curious about everybody's thoughts, kind of in general, on Redfall. After having, as I said, I only played it a little bit myself. So, but also I did want to point out, Hi-Fi Rush still the second highest rated game of 2023 as of right now. So Resident Evil 4 and OpenCritic, I should say. Resident Evil 4 is still number one, but I'm just saying, like it has been a couple months since it came out. It's still, I think it was rated 89. I don't know, something high as fuck.
As of today, May 3rd,
yeah,
Hi-Fi Rush is still, I would say, in the conversation for Game of the Year.
Yes.
Will it be after 3 months from now? Who knows? Tears of the Kingdom's probably
Tears of the Kingdom.
gonna shit all over everything.
Well,
if it's good.
Well, the problem is when we kind of talked about this, Tears of the Kingdom is gonna get personal opinion, we'll get kind of the rose-colored glasses treatment. If there's any issues, nobody's gonna fucking talk about them. You know what I mean? Or it'll be swept under the rug. Oh, it's a Switch. You know what I mean? Like, which isn't like. It's not bad, but if they're not addressed at all, like if they're not even brought up, then it's bad. But if they're at least like, hey, these are issues I ran into, probably because it runs on fucking 7-year-old or however fucking year old hardware that is, that's probably why it runs like this. But just so you know, going into it, like as long as there's at least that caveat, if there are issues, I'm fine with it. If nobody talks about them at all, I have a problem with that. So
That's a great point, because we're talking about Redfall right now, and how many of these reviews have people put out there as just bombs,
right,
because of the performance alone?
100%.
Like, it would have a higher rating if it was in a better condition right now.
Right.
And that's a problem with
right.
the way games are reviewed, because the reviews, depending on who's doing the reviews, some reviewers take into account how much money did this cost.
Yep.
What kind of state is the game in? Some reviewers ignore that, and they're just like taking the game at its like, if everything's going great, no bugs, I didn't pay, I got a code for it, this is the game as a piece of art, here's my review.
Right.
So it's all very nebulous.
Right. Actually,
if I were doing a review for it, it would be complicated because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Does that give it more leeway? Because I didn't pay $70. Am I harder on this game if I paid $70?
Right.
Probably, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
And you don't get reviewers that come out and say that at the beginning, like, okay, here's what I'm basing my review on.
Yeah.
These things.
Yeah. Well, and Justin, we were kind of talking about this before, right? Because I was like, I just happened to be looking at OpenCritic because I looked up Chained Echoes, right? Because we were talking about, was it Sea of Stars? Is that the game you were excited for? Yeah.
Yes.
And I just happened to notice that Star Wars Jedi Survivor is rated, and it's only 2 points, but it's rated 2 points higher than Hogwarts Legacy. And I was like, how? I was like, Jedi Survivor is a fucking mess right now, right? Like, not saying there isn't a good game underneath all of that, because I don't really know. I haven't played it at all. But it released, and it looks like ass, and it runs like ass on PC. And Hogwarts Legacy released, no real technical issues. I mean, granted, it had PC stuff, but no like major technical issues that I remember.
Not like we've seen with Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, nowhere close. And then Justin was like, "Well, why are you worried about the technical stuff?" And so it's just the different ways that we think about these things or whatever. Because I would 100% have that in my review. Like, hey, this runs like shit. there's fun here, but it runs like shit. Just be prepared for it to be like that. So no surprise. So yeah, I do think it's fair that should be probably put out there. But also just want to point out Cassette Beast is also top 4 right now on OpenCritic for 2023. So I'm excited to dig into that here at some point.
I don't know what that is, but
It's Pokemon.
Steam keeps yelling at me like, "You need to play this." I'm like, I don't want to.
Hey, it's on Game Pass.
Oh, well, I can't. Wait, you said it's Pokemon, so I won't play it on my Steam Deck.
Well, then stream it.
Yeah, I guess one like that is not gonna be hurt.
No, it's not a big. It's not a big deal. So, anyways, that's kind of the show tonight. We ran a little bit over, but yeah, it's kind of where we're at with Redfall and things. So hopefully, nothing and we didn't really totally get into it, but I just really think there's some questions about Starfield going forward. We touched on it a little bit.
100%. As the
crossing my
resident
fingers.
Starfield, fucking obsessed person.
Yeah.
If it's bad.
Hey, here's my thing. If it's not ready, fucking delay it. Okay? It has to be good. It has to be good when it releases. If it's Cyberpunk.
Isn't that what Jason Schreier said that an internal source was saying? This was a while ago. This is before the delay, I think, last year. They were like, yeah, get ready. It's another Cyberpunk.
Yep, that's what the internal developers were saying. So if it still releases...
a year ago, though.
Yeah, well, look at Redfall, and that was a year ago, too. So yeah.
Great, Redfall got this extra time.
Yeah.
Didn't help.
Well, I mean, it could...
How bad would Redfall have been if they would have released it last fall?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Yes. Yeah. Look, Redfall should have released on Halloween to begin with. I just want to fucking throw that out there, too. 100% should have been a Halloween game. Anyways, we could keep talking about this shit forever. We love you guys. Anybody have any closing thoughts?
I do.
What's up,
Fortnite's fun as fuck. Play Fortnite. Your lightsabers right now. It's kick-ass.
I did download Fortnite so I could play around with the editor, but...
That's why I have it downloaded now, too.
One step closer.
Yeah, we're getting there. Slowly but surely. You got anything, Tim?
No, I already said mine, basically. I just... Please, for the love of God, let Starfield be at least pretty good. It doesn't have to be amazing for it to be like, okay, Xbox isn't totally fucked, but it kind of does. So yeah,
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. Come on, Todd.
I hope that everybody's week is joyous. I will be an older man next week, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's my closing thought. That's what's on my mind, because I already.
The next podcast is
on my birthday.
On your birthday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So,
figure that out.
Yeah. Well, I'm broke. Had a bunch of unexpected expenses pop up, so I'll be here. I am not going anywhere. We are not doing jack shit because we're broke. So it is what it is. But we will be back next week on my birthday at 10 o'clock-ish Central. And we'll be here to talk about whatever the fuck's happened that week. So, we love you. Right. And this has been Our Life in Pixels.
Bye, everybody.
Play more games.